Kartik Krishnaiyer for the Florida Squeeze. Donald Trump's home county or adopted home county is Palm Beach County, Florida. And you hear a lot in the liberal sphere about Mar-a-Lago and how Palm Beach must be this incredibly MAGA place. Well, maybe the island of Palm Beach is where Mar-a-Lago is located, but Palm Beach County itself is not. And I have significant experience in the county. It's probably the county I know the best in Florida. I live in Broward County currently, but I've lived in Palm Beach County in the past, and I have worked more campaigns in Palm Beach County than any other county in Florida. I have spent more time working with the Democratic Party in Palm Beach County than any other county in Florida, and I also was pretty had a fairly large role during the 2000 presidential recount in Palm Beach County. If you have a newspapers.com subscription, you can look up my name in the 2000 recount, and you'll find a dozen articles or more which talk about me and my role in that. So I know the county really well, and I've seen the county's evolution politically. And the thing about Palm Beach County is it's been on the precipice, it feels like, for a long time of potentially swinging towards the Republicans, and never quite has. So what we've had happen in Palm Beach County in the past is we saw in 2012 a kind of movement towards Republicans, right? In terms of Romney's percentage. Romney broke 40%. He was the first Republican since George H.W. Bush in 1988 to break 40% in Palm Beach. And this came after a period where Palm Beach was kind of like a mini Broward in terms of its vote totals, vote percentages. It was Buddy McKay's second best county in the state. Well, Gadsden is a small kind of rural African American majority county in North Florida. But outside of Gadsden, let's just take Gadsden out of the equation. Behind Broward, it was the second best county for Buddy McKay in 1998 in the governor's race. And I was very involved in Palm Beach then, and very involved with the condo commandos in South County in particular. 2000, it was one of the best urban counties in the country at that point for Al Gore. He got 62% in Palm Beach County, and we know he lost at least between undervotes and overvotes, at least 5,000 votes in the county. I was in the recount room. I played a critical role in the recount. There were tons of spoiled ballots. It was a county where John Kerry and Barack Obama in 2008 cleared 60%. But then something began to happen. You began to see a lot of growth in the northeast portion of the county. The areas between Jupiter and Palm Beach Gardens filled up, as did some of the areas west. Now, even in 2000, when I was very involved in the campaigns in Palm Beach County in 2002 and 2004, we knew places like Loxahatchee Groves, the Acreage, Royal Palm Beach, parts of Wellington, and the extreme western part of Jupiter Farms. We knew those areas were Republican areas, but we saw some positive signs for Democrats there. And in terms of South County, Boca, Delray, and Boynton were very Democratic, not necessarily the cities, but the general areas, the western. There are more people living in unincorporated Boca Raton than in the city of Boca Raton. There were more people at that time living in unincorporated Delray Beach and in the city of Delray Beach. Although the city of Delray itself was pretty Democratic also. The city of Boca was not. But the condo areas in Palm Beach County were, in my opinion, in 1998, 2000, and 2002 beginning to produce bigger margins for Democrats than the similar condo areas we know in Broward County. And maybe we should do something on the death of the condo commandos, the downfall of the condo commandos in the next few days before the election, because part of the equation in Florida changing is the the kind of the fall of the Jewish condo in Southeast Florida. So in the 2000 and 2002 campaigns, I spent, I don't want to say the bulk of my time, but a good chunk of my time. In 2002, I was statewide, but when I was in Palm Beach, I would spend a good chunk of my time in these Jewish condos. And in 2000, that was really my focus. Um, and so if you looked at Century Village, Boca, Kings Point, Delray Beach, the Huntington Point, Huntington Lakes area in Delray Beach, Whisper Walk in Boca, Golden Lakes in West Palm Beach, and Century Village, West Palm Beach. And one or two other kind of similar sized, heavily Jewish condo areas. Again, these are heavily Jewish condos, not heavily just senior condos, but because there were a lot of other ones like those in Palm Beach County, Leisureville, etc. You would look and see 97% for Democrats, 3% for Republicans, and 90% turnout, which is why in 2000 we knew there were anomalies with the Buchanan vote and overvotes coming out of those precincts, because the presidential race did not track with the other races on the same ballot the same day. But as that generation of New Deal Jewish residents who had largely come from New York, Boston, New York, New England, and Chicago have died off, they've been replaced by not only younger Jews who seem to be more attracted to Republicans, but also by non-Jews and largely Latinos filling up these condo areas, who are much like we've talked about in other discussions about parts of the state, more friendly to Republicans. So around 2010, 2012, we began to see a swing towards the Republicans in parts of Palm Beach. The western suburbs of Boca, Delray, Boynton, those areas became less Democratic. They still are Democratic, but they're not as monolithically Democratic as they were between 2000 and 2000, or between really 1992 and 2010. And we're seeing increasing Republican numbers in the Jupiter area, the Palm Beach Gardens area, and then the areas I mentioned in the western part of the county or along Southern Boulevard, between Southern and Okeechobee. And actually now they built out on North Lake. One of the first areas we saw this Republican trend were in these gated communities that had been annexed by the city of West Palm Beach that we kind of deridingly called the Seven Sisters. Those of us in Democratic politics, there are these gated communities where the city had annexed them for the tax base, and they just didn't fit the culture of West Palm Beach politically, socially, culturally. Gated communities that were suburban areas attached to an urban area. So those areas are more Republican, and as this has happened, we've seen a trend line that has been very consistent go against the Democrats. 58% for Obama in 2012, down to 56% for Clinton in 2016, down to 55 and change for Biden in 2020. So it has been a downward trend. Only 51% for Val Demings, the U.S. Senate nominee, in 2022. Ron DeSantis actually won the county against Charlie Crist, but as I said, Demings carried the county. I think she had 51.2% against Rubio. So the trend line is down, and this is an interesting situation because Palm Beach County probably had more environmentalists than any other place in the state, right? Because there were massive fights about urban development and what residents of Palm Beach or the environmentalists deridingly called the, quote, Browardization of Palm Beach County. And so there's more preserved land, more natural areas in Palm Beach County than any other urban county in Florida. You get more natural areas in places like up in the north central portion of the state and some of the rural areas, right? The Springs and all of that. But outside of those areas, the most preserved natural areas are in Palm Beach County. They've done the best job of land preservation. And that was because there was an overriding consensus that development was not um, development had to be offset by preserving natural areas. So housing development goes in, and land that was previously reserved for agriculture is developed. You then preserve a natural area next to it. You preserve wetlands. You restore wetlands. That was always the consensus in Palm Beach County. Now Donald Trump has moved to Palm Beach County. He now calls it his home. He's registered to vote in Palm Beach County. And the culture is beginning to change. Because in the past, I should say, when we talk about land preservation, in a lot of cases, it was the Republicans pushing land preservation. I think County Commissioner Karen Marcus was really good in wanting land preserved, wanting development curbed in some areas. And there were other Republicans in the county that were very prominent. The former Boca Mayor Carol Hansen, late Boca Mayor Carol Hansen, she was another one. She was a Republican. She'd been a Republican in the state house also. Very anti-development, very hostile to the sugar industry also. But now with Trump around, while the county hasn't flipped a Republican, what it has done is taken the Republicans that were a more moderate brand of Republican, pro-environmental Republicans, Republicans that, if you looked at their voting record in the legislature, the few Republicans that got elected from Palm Beach County, they voted to the left. They were all the way on the left of the Republican caucus in Tallahassee. They were not. They would be the least conservative Republicans in the entire legislature, basically. People like Carl Domino, Bill Hager, etc. Now, the Republican coming from Palm Beach County is a MAGA Republican. So that is a part of a national trend, but it is also influenced by Trump being located in Palm Beach County and all of the Republican Party functions in the county going from being at kind of run like any local parties would be to being at Mar-a-Lago and being connected to Trump. So it's had an impact on the county for sure. It has not flipped the county to Republican, but it has made the Republicans in Palm Beach County more Trumpy. And I think eventually the county might flip. But I'm actually surprised by the numbers we're seeing so far this cycle in favor of the Democrats in Palm Beach County. So let's see if that continues for the rest of this week.